you can take body scans and you can take images, and that doesn't always point to a structure. Can you talk a little bit about what doing all those scans might cause in a patient? Like, are we, by blanketedly sending a patient, we're going to send you to go get an X-ray or an MRI or a CT scan, and then let's say nothing, it's a quote unquote non-significant findings for whatever imaging. Like, what does that do to a patient by the time they come to us at that point?
I think a lot of, especially anxious patients, people who are really worried about what's going on in their body, they get told to go and have a scan, and they think, oh, it must be really serious, because they say, I have to have a scan. And then they see a little something on there, which, and we know from the literature, from the research, that when someone has a scan, the potential is that we'll find something. It's probably incidental, but it's so easy to say, oh, that's why, and then do something. And the research shows that people who get scans end up to have more surgery and more invasive procedures. So their outcomes aren't always wonderful. Not only that, if you're worried and then your scan comes up normal, instead of being reassured by that, research again shows that people start to think, oh, hold on, maybe they didn't do the right part of my body. Maybe it was maybe things have changed since I had that scan. And so it can reduce anxiety temporarily, but it doesn't actually change the person's fundamental belief that there's something going on. I get that it's really hard to say to somebody, a scan isn't the right thing for you, because doctors in particular are afraid that they're going to miss something. And that's they have a huge responsibility for ensuring that they diagnose properly.
Correctly, yeah.
Because, even in New Zealand, where we don't have suing, they can be taken to the Health and Disability Commissioner, and, that's not great. And I also think there's a tendency to want the person to like us. And if we say no to something, we're a bit scared that we're not going to be liked, and that person's going to be dissatisfied and unhappy. And that's a conversation that's difficult to have, particularly if you're a medical practitioner with a 15-minute appointment slot. And you've got someone that you need to actually have a conversation with about why a scan doesn't show pain. No scans. We haven't got any thermometer that says, this is your pain thermometer. This is your pain scan. And even if we did, would it capture what it is like, the lived experience of being that person with their unique worries and concerns and the unique impact? All it would show is, hey, you've got pain.
Yeah, we already knew that, right?
Yeah, you told us, so what's the diff? So to me, it's, I guess the challenge is to have a respectful conversation about what imaging can and can't show, and any other type of investigative procedure. To say, it can show us some stuff, and it can show us some stuff that we might be able to do something to, but we won't know anything about the pain experience and the impact that that's having on you. And that's the bit of the conversation that I think gets missed out.
Yeah, I think especially on the Facebook pages or the interwebs, it seems like there's this polarizing. You've been in the threads, you've seen them, like, you should never ever order a scan ever, because all you're going to do is cause the patient to catastrophize or something like that. And then there are other people that are, no, you have to do a scan because you need to make sure that you're finding whatever pathophysiological thing is going on.
Yeah, I think the strategy I'd recommend is to think, will a finding on this image change what we do next? And is it aligned with this person's other parts of their presentation? Because if it's not, then there's no point.